so that it will help the upcoming batch. So we just wanted to make it clear. So let us start this session. And Regin, can you change the slide? Uh, this session is particularly about DAF orientation. So after TISS releasing this selection list after based on CUET score, these candidates will have to go through the online assessment process. Online assessment process includes online personal interview and extempore. In case of HRM, ODCL and social entrepreneurship, instead of this personal interview, there will be group discussion or case discussion also. It may vary. So it may vary. Before this online assessment starts, candidates will have to fill this detailed application form prior to the announcement. So in this session, particularly we'll be talking only about how to fill this detailed application form. Candidates will have many doubts about this, how to prepare for online assessment and all. We'll be doing a separate session for that. That is also course wise. For each course, how you should be preparing for this online interview, which external topics you will have to prepare. That session will come. So in this session, we will be particularly focusing on detailed application form. So basically, detailed application form is a document that you are submitting before the interview board, before starting the interview. So that tells who you are and how you want to why do you want to apply for this course, why you are interested in course, and also basically how weightage wise DAF will not be that important, but it is important in the sense that each and every questions that will be asked in the interview will be from the staff, because the person who are interviewing you will be only reading this detailed application form, and they will be asking questions particularly from what you are telling in that detailed application form. So in that sense, DAF is important. DAF defines like how your interview will be gone. So that is there. So that is basically detailed application form, and this is the first step in online assessment process. You will have to fill the detailed application form. You will get some days to fill this form, so that you can fill it once, and then you can edit it, and you can seek advices from other persons. You can rework it, and you should be confident about that. So you will have time to avoid mistakes and all. So take time, and you can do that, and you can submit that. After that, this interview schedules will be coming, and you will be called for a personal interview and extempore round. So in the staff form, this sample form of a DAF is already there in website. So we were expecting that today now we'll be knowing the selection list, but till now it is not released, and now the date is showing as 11, that is tomorrow. So hopefully it will be coming tomorrow. We are not at a position to tell about it, so we can expect that. So all of you may have looked at this sample form of detailed application form. So it contains two parts, where basic details like our academic details and all are filled, and the other part is like we'll have to explain why we are choosing this particular course, or and a bio sketch, and the experiences we have prior experiences related to this course, like internships or something you have done. So then these interviews will be based on this DAF you will be filled. So can you change the slide? So in the DAF form, first thing that you will be asked will be the particulars of your education. After entering the register number, you and course. So if you are if you are qualified for 3 different courses and you are appearing for 3 different interviews or online assessment, you will have to separately fill 3 detailed application forms. So you will have to fill your registration number. This registration number you will be getting, and after that you will have to fill the course name, and then you will have to fill the particulars of your education. So like in all other forms that we will use to fill, you will have to mention your if you have done any other post graduation, that then graduation, then your +2, then SSLC. So up to that you should be mentioning, and some duration is you will have to mention the start date, end date, duration of your course, your percentage of marks, and every detail of your courses you have to fill. And after SSLC, if you have any gap year before, like after 12th, if you have prepared for any examination, or after graduation, if you have any gap year, that should be clearly mentioning with a short explanation. It should not, it need not to be a detailed explanation of gap period, but you should be telling the interview about that. From this period to this period, I took a gap year and a gap period, and after this is the reason for that. So that a small explanation should be there from your part. Can you change the slide, resume? Then you will have to fill the other programs you have qualified for. So in TISS application, you can apply for up to 3 courses. So if you are applying for one particular course in this detailed application form and you have qualified for other 2 courses, you have to mention that 2 courses. And you have to mention languages, that languages you know. But it is like given in particular, like which language you know to speak, to write, and understand, and everything that is given as a table. That table you have to fill. And the next resume this previous slide on. And then it is the employment, that if you are working or have been worked as a full-time employer in any field, you will have to fill that section, like what details of that employment, and you will have to produce the certificate necessary for that. So in the next slide, we have like given the a sample form that is released in the website. So as I mentioned, this registration number, after that educational details are there, and then the small explanation for the gap period is there. That is period we have to mention from and to this time, and how was the time spent. Like if you will be preparing for some exam, or you will have some health issues, or you will have some other reason, or you will be working whatever is the reason, you will have to mention that. And many queries were coming in the Google form related to this part only. So one particular kind of doubt or concern was whether the admission will be affected if you have a gap year. It is not like that. The gap year won't be affecting your admission, but you will have to clearly mention and clearly state that this is what I did during that period. So that is with gap year. You will just have to clearly state that reason. Next is this other programs you have qualified. You will have to just fill that. And languages, you can mention one language. If you want to speak, you can mention that, read, write. And employment details, you have to giving the seventh column, seventh question, that is are you employed. These all are the things related to this academic details or our prior background, and then you will have to explain things like biographical sketch and all. Lagan will be explaining that part, the second part of DAF 2. So, handing over the session to Lagan.
Hi. Hello everyone. I hope I am audible. I am Lagan. I am first year student of Media and Cultural Studies at TISS, and I am also the General Secretary of PSF. So I'll be taking you through this second part of that, with vaguely divided into two parts. One which Anaka covered, and the second one is what I'll be talking about. And very broadly taking you through, because what the intention of this session is also to have some more interaction, and mostly with your questions only after once we are finished with this explanation. Maybe more things and more understanding can be developed through that. But to broadly explain the structure of the second part of the DAF is that you'll be basically asked three questions, and this is a format that has been followed for quite a while now. And again, as has been previously mentioned, that DAF forms the basis of your interview basically. So the three people panel that generally interviews all the candidates will go through the DAF form and the responses that you have provided there, and accordingly will be asking you questions. Roughly, that is the format of the whole. So one of the primary things that is being asked is, why are you interested in the program that you have selected? So again, one thing to note again here is that for like three courses are what you can apply for, and if you are qualified for all three for the OA stage, then you will have to fill three separate DAF forms for each of the program that you have qualified for. So in that sense, one thing to note is that in one particular course, like I applied for Media and Cultural Studies, and I got an I reached the OA stage for that, so I had to basically mention about that only, and why I'm interested in that particular program of study. And this can range from like a variety of things. You can maybe come up with a personal narrative of why you are interested in something happened in your life. You encountered certain people, you read something in the news and that made you fascinated. Something, it can be related to what you did in your undergraduation, something you really care about or want to do. So those are the things that will basically form this section of the DAF, the first answer for the second part, where you are asked to tell about your interest. And again, one thing to keep in mind is that there is no need to say big things. It can be a very simple, normal, basic things which you can mention, but those should be genuine. Because again, reiterating that the idea is not that you will be evaluated on the DAF. Whatever you are writing here is not up for evaluation. So the 25% scoring that is there from the interview section, it won't, like DAF won't be counted for that. So there is no need to worry about if you haven't achieved a lot of things in life, if you don't have like sometimes we often think in that way. So that is something that you need not worry about. Second question that comes in this field, and the last point I mentioned is more related here also, is about if you have done any relevant work in the field of study that you are doing. Again, there are two ways to go about it. One is like if you have done a lot of things, if you have done some things or whatever, then you can point by, like not point by point, but broadly mention about what all you have done in that particular field and explain why you are interested in it. We'll take questions after the end of this session. So this you can put it in chat or keep it to you. We'll come to you. So if you have done some amount of work or something, so you can list it out and tell what you did, where you worked, what were your learning experience, why you were doing a certain thing in the first place. So these are the things that you can mention. But that is for someone who has done some amount of work in a particular field. But there are other people who have maybe not done internships, maybe not done any work as such uh, in the, uh, in the particular field. But then again, then it comes to you on how you can dig up and find some places where you found that you were doing something related and something which connected with this particular thing that you want to study. And it can be any course, like it is like a general orientation only right now. So whatever your field of study is, so you try to relate whatever you have done, even if it is some sort of an assignment that you have done in your school or in like undergrad or postgrad, wherever. So you can mention those things also, that I was writing this one assignment and that is what sort of drew me to it, and that is one place where I think I have worked. It won't be counted as work, but because you can't leave a section empty, so you can use creative ways to utilize this space and talk about more of your interests and how you sort of ended up choosing this one particular field. And then comes the final question, which people are very curious. From the form that we also shared, most of the questions which were coming were about this only: how to write a biographical sketch and what all to do in this. And another thing to keep in mind is that there is a word limit also, which is attached to this, which is 300 words. And in general, also, I would suggest that stick your answers to around 300 words only for all three, because for biographical sketch there is a limit that has been given, but for the other two courses, the other two questions, there generally is not such a word limit. But since again you also see it from the point of view of the interview panel, in one day they are interviewing like 15, 20, 30 people at least. They are going through so much. So to keep the information precise, so that they see, okay, these are the things that seem relevant, and they ask you questions accordingly. So stick around 300 words. That would be one word of advice. But on the biographical sketch front, again, like somewhere what is recommended is that you try to attach things with the field of study only, the program you are applying for. So obviously you start out by telling who you are, where you have studied, what are your interests, do you have any hobbies, have you done some work or some random things which you can talk about, but try to tie it into, eventually, if possible, try to tie it into why all of these things come together to make you a suitable candidate or make you interested in this particular course that you are applying for. So we can talk about the various kind of things in that. With this regard, like this is a neat way of telling everything about yourself as well, and at the same time also making sure that somewhere the panel also nudges you towards your interest in the field and why you should be what sort of questions, and then what can come from it. That is one thing to keep in mind. And just some general things to remember that are there is, like I said, be genuine, be honest in your responses. So you're not being evaluated on the basis of that. It is only to make sure that the interview panel knows who you are, and they are not just randomly asking you questions. So what the interview panel will also do is look at your DAF and see what your particular interests are. And based on that, like the professors who sit for the interview are smart enough to sort of gauge what sort of interests the candidate, and they also make sure more often than not that they ask questions which are relevant to the students as well. And and being honest is also important here, also because if you're not honest and you say some random things, some very, you make some claims which you have not done or you don't believe in, then when you are questioned on them, there might be a chance that you sort of slip up there. So it is better to keep it honest, keep it real, and tell honest things about why you're interested, about your biographical sketch. If you have done some work, to tell that. If you have not, to put it in a way, mention that okay, you have not done, but in what form you have somehow nudged towards this work, you can mention that also. And as already mentioned, that responses will be the base for the OA. Stick to the word limit for the biographical sketch. There is a stipulated word limit of 300 words, but don't go into very long, detailed answers, very heavy answers. Keep them short, simple, and 300 words is a good benchmark to keep. So that is something which you can follow. Be formal in your responses. This is a very important one. So this is not a, like, you're not texting a friend or someone. You are like, you are applying to a institute, and a very renowned institute at that. So there is a, and this is the first stage of you interacting with the faculty at TISS. So in that way also it becomes important that some amount of formal like writing is there, like not very heavy again. Keep it simple, the words, the language that you are using, but be formal and be respectful in the way you are writing your responses. Then one thing which is avoid repetition. So this is mostly in relation to the second part of DAF, which with the 3 questions. So not directly repeating the same thing. That is one thing which you have to keep in mind. You can, like I said, present it in such a way that it doesn't feel like that, but indeed the questions are made in such a way that you eventually have to sort of repeat or talk about the same or similar things, but word it in such a way, and very simply, very fancy things, but do it in such a way that it doesn't feel like same things are being repeated, that I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Instead of that, structure it in a different way. And DAF, like I said, is not for evaluation. It is just to get an idea for the interview panel, so that they are also not shooting into the black. So this is something to keep in mind. Apart from that, like one more suggestion before we open to questions is, for each question you make pointers before you start out writing. And make a long list of let's say things you have done, or in biographical sketch who you are. Just write this question and write 10 things, 20 things, what you think describe you best, what your interests are in, and then see how you can structure it through that. Similarly, why you're interested in the course, write out those things. So one thing what I did, and what many others have done, and what would be helpful for you also, is go through the course outline of the sort of the course that you are applying for, and all of it is available on the TISS website. When you go to the admission section, go to the VP section, you will find all the courses, all the schools. Go through it and just interact with that also. About maybe there is, like, from my personal experience, what I was very I liked very much was that the course had both practical and theoretical component. So that is what I wrote in my DAF also, that this is something that really interests me, and that is what attracts me to this course. So that is somewhere questions were also asked from the panel. Why do you think so? Why you are interested? So keep that in mind. So if you also go through the course outline and prepare yourself before writing the DAF, filling in your response, so that is also essential. Once you have a long list, then many things you won't be including in the final thing that you'll be submitting. But you'll have a broad basket to pick from. So, and some things will come out, you will do re-edits, edits, those things will also happen, and that is bound to happen. Uh, so start working on it and go through the course outline, go through yourself basically. Why are you really interested in it? Or what made you interested? So think of these things and note them down, and then one by one you start responding to these questions, and then it would be a lot more easier. One thing which would have made this thing also much easier would have been if the results would have appeared today, which as was planned. But generally, there is some sort of there can be a delay. It's normal only. So by tomorrow, now that it has been announced, so now by tomorrow there will be more clarity about who will have qualified for that also. Uh, you can start preparing then also, and the DAF will be open just to update also till the before the first date of the OA, and like the interviews of the group discussion actually starting a day before that. Uh, the DAF form will be closed. So make sure you, more than anything, please fill the DAF form because without that, nothing will happen. So apart from everything, how to fill and everything, please fill. So that is like very important. Uh, so yeah, I think that would be it from my side. And now I think Hardik can come on and we can take questions.
Okay, thank you, Anaga and Gagan. So, since you can ask a question to directly you can turn on mic, and you can also put the question in the chat box, but if you are comfortable. So, you can ask.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are we required to attach the certificates of our internships to the DAF form, or if yes, how do we attach them? Do we keep them in the PDF, or do we upload them, or do we mail them? How do we go about that?
No, we don't have to attach any certificate at this stage. There is no requirement as such. So when if you are qualified and get the admission, then you will be asked for not for internship, but if you like have you were working before that, then you will be asked for some certificates of that sort. But in that stage you won't be, or the interview stage you won't be expected to.
All right, thank you.
Hi, this is Sakshi here.
Yes.
As we, some of us have opted for 2 or 3 courses, so there are separate dash forms for that, or we just have to fill the information in single dash?
Anaga, you want to answer?
If you are like applying for 3 courses, you will have to fill 3 separate DAFs. Last year it was
So for this year also the same process is being carried out?
most probably yes, because the sample form they have kept to us almost the same. So we can expect that if you are qualified for like 3 courses, you will have to fill separately.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think from the chat then we can take messages. Is the DAF sample still available on TISS website? It should be like, but today morning when I was checking it was there. Right now I'm seeing, so it is not showing somehow. So might be some error or something, but we put some screenshots in this RPPT, so we'll share that so you can go through that also. That would be helpful. Can we keep the biosketch part similar for all the courses we are shortlisted for? Anaga, you will respond.
Mostly it depends up to you, because if you are like biosketch, we can present in different way, right? So For one particular course, if you are giving a biosketch, and in some other course you are applying, you have in like in your academics or in your from the internship you have done or some experience you have related to other course, you can change accordingly. Like biosketch can also be changed accordingly. So mostly it's up to you. It is not a big deal that if you have kept the same for both the courses. But yeah, it's your choice. You can change or you can keep it.
She was asking, do we need to present our CV too? No, that is not needed. Some of the questions are CV like what work you have done, where you have done. And the first part of the DAF is similar to what education CV would look like, but not a proper CV you don't have to present. Only the questions which you are being asked, you have to answer those. Could we
hello. Do we need to, like, if we have gap year, do we need to produce a gap certificate?
No.
Not a certificate, but you have to talk about what you were doing in that class.
Okay, sure.
And in the gap year thing also, like this is related to the interview section when it comes. So, be prepared for what you've learned in the gap year. If you were preparing for say a UPSC exam or something during the gap year, so you mention or you talk about what you learned from that. That is something that should be helpful.
So one question, like if we are preparing for other competitive exams, so how they treat the people who given competitive exams? Do they grill or like they are chiller? So that's what my concern.
You tell.
Like there are many UPSC aspirants now currently studying in TISS. So none of them have shared such an experience with us, like they have roasted or something. But definitely they will be checking what. Basically, they will be checking in interviews. They will be checking, are you genuinely interested in this course, to study this course? But they won't be checking your excellence or are you an expert in that. The competitive exams won't be taking that much big role in.
But I have heard or seen this thing from your fellow members who, like they said कि मत बताना क्योंकि ऐसा होता है कि वो सोचते हैं कि टीएस की डिग्री तुम्हारी बैकअप है.
No, that thing you just have to mention it clearly because one of the experience I have heard was that the same question was asked in my phone, and she was a UPSC aspirant. So they were like whether you are preparing or joining this course for a backup. So she was genuinely saying UPSC is also her preference. TISS also, as the procedures of UPSC takes a long time. She will be completing the PG and only after that she will be appearing for etc. So application to give, but it won't affect your marks.
Okay, thank you.
The question is, could we include the work done in college societies related to the field of study? Yes, you can. Just direct it towards why it is relevant and then that should be
I have a question. So I have a couple of questions. So firstly, I wanted to understand, does the interviewer panel would know that I have applied for 2 courses? Like supposedly I have applied for 2 courses. Will there be any provision in the form or something in which the panel must be knowing that I have applied to 2 courses or 3 courses, or I have just applied for this course?
I'll answer. So, I have mentioned already that you will have to mention in the DAF form, DAF only, that you what are the other courses you have applied. So in interview, some questions may come like why that particular course is your first preference and this course is like your third preference. So, you will have to just give an explanation of why you are choosing this course over that course. They will be obviously knowing.
Okay. And secondly, I wanted to understand in the biographical sketch. So so it is just like a normal SOP, like which we fill for other MBA colleges or something.
Like,
Sorry, I missed it. Naman, can you repeat?
Sure. So the biographical sketch question in the DAF form. So is it only like the SOP, SOP which we fill or give out for other MBA applications for these schools?
It can be similar. Like I'm thinking you are applying for HRM.
Right.
हाँ. So it can be similar, but just see कि मतलब वो it fits in the TISS का realm about how they like to do things. So if it is like that, and I think Niranj is here from SMLS. Niranj, are you here? He can maybe also write.
Hello?
Niranj, can you also tell about this?
Hello? Actually, I didn't go the question. Can you just repeat it once more?
No, I'll just quickly tell कि should the bio sketch be similar to the way SOPs are written for D schools, different D schools?
No, not necessarily. So the thing about the confusion that many of the aspirants is having regarding many of the courses in the management is that it's almost similar to the courses that is being offered in the business school. But it's not like that. So this has always been maintaining a social element in all the courses. So it should not be like the SOPs that we are writing for the business school, but I would suggest personally try to add a social element to that or the human element to that. Even if you are worked in an organization which was mostly towards an NGO sector or an CSR sector, so that would give you an extra edge if you can put out that as the highlighting point of your DAF. So for the management courses, I would suggest compared to what you are going to write in the B school thing, if you could add some elements such as you work for an NGO, that would be good.
I get your point. Just to cut you. So the social element point, I was thinking of mentioning it in the why have you applied for this course? Matlab, I wanted to understand like why have you applied for this course, so then I can relate my this social sector or something experience in that, stating that I am interested for this course. I was thinking of mentioning these points in the why are you interested for pursuing this course. So I was a little just confused that what all points then can be mentioned in the biographical sketch.
So, no. So what I want you to think is that take from the perspective of the interviewer. So it's not like whatever you're going to mention in the bio sketch will be going to ask in the interview thing, and whatever you're going to mention in the why this particular course is going to ask by the answer panel. So it's not like that. So it should be like presented in a way that these points should get highlighted, so that the interviewer can get an attention to this particular point and ask questions related to that. It doesn't matter where you are mentioning this thing and how you are mentioning this thing, but try to make it stand out. So this interviewer will get attention to these particular points.
Correct. And how, in depth do the interviewers check our general knowledge as such?
In my yeah.
And once we come to the interview part, then we can come to that. Like in the few days, we'll be doing specific to interview how that works. So these questions, I think we can address them. Just let us stick to that.
Okay, fine.
For that,
thank you so much.
Okay, if you don't have work experience, can you mention about position held in college or school? Yes, again, like tailor it towards how it is relevant and how it can be counted as that. So that should be good. Will we have roughly 5 to 6 days? Yes, yes. So till like 18th is, if I'm not wrong, 18th is the date when all starts. So till before that, you will be required to fill the DAF form. Should it be in pointers or panel out? Regin, do you want to respond? Okay, he is somewhere. Basically, it is ideal to keep it in a paragraph, short paragraphs, but there is no hard and fast rule about it. Maybe I won't tell only how you should do, because like I prefer to do it in paragraph only, but I made small paragraphs, so which were as much as a pointer only. But there is no rule as such how it should be. So you can keep it either ways, but like my preference has been to write it in a paragraph form. So that it's actually irrelevant, but it is there something unique about this that you realized after getting admitted here. Anything that sets it apart from what is commonly known. Oh damn, ये तो philosophical question. I think we can address it later. This in the group or something. We can get the last. Right now, we'll keep it to that only. I have applied for development studies program, and my reasoning and interest for applying is similar based on my internship experience. Would mentioning the same things be repetitive? Anaka?
No, I think you can state that you are interested to study in development studies, and there will be a separate column about the works, to mention works that you have done related to this field. So all this internship experience you can tell there. So it won't be like repetitive, it will be like make it repetitive, how you write also. Just make it clear that you are interested in course, and I have done internship. The experiences in internship have also helped to develop an interest towards this course. So that would be repetitive. So you can Nidhi Mohan, you can ask.
Hi guys. So I just want to summarize my understanding of part B of the DAF form. Just let me know if according to it and how I can basically further personalize it. Now about the understanding of what is why I'm pursuing this course, I am concerned about how the potential of it is and what are the future prospects, because I am looking at applying for the climate change and sustainability field that's currently like an evolving field. So about why I'm interested, so I'm kind of interested, my angle would probably be about how this is a constant evolving field and the kind of potentials about it. Biographical sketch, I want to kind of stick to about the past and what has kind of triggered me and kind of driven my interest in this field, and basically mention any work is basically my actions about it as to what I've done with these triggers and all of that. So do you think my understanding is fine and how I can basically further better it?
On the biographical sketch front only, you have to start with yourself only telling, and then you can take it to somewhere by the interest or something also knows. But otherwise, I think broadly this is a correct understanding from
can
my
you elaborate that part as to start about me? So can you just give me a few examples as to like a few starting points in that aspect?
Yeah, so telling about you have mentioned about your education and everything before in the part 1 also, but sort of elaborating on that, what you did, what you learned, small, what are your interests, generally, and what your interests are, maybe which relate to the field also. So that is how you can sort of structure it, making it person and then going it, relating it to the larger field or the program that you are studying, which is not a necessity. This is something which I did, so that is why I'm telling. There is no hard and fast rule about that also. So that is
So, but
maybe another is also
more about me basically and less about the course. But probably like a 90-10 kind of a split about it.
No, if you want to be mathematical about it, maybe, but probably we can say that.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Okay, I failed my 11th, so I repeated a year. Does this consider a gap? If not, how would you recommend I account for it? Abhinav, are you there? Can you answer to that?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, actually, that's not considered as a gap year. They just consider the gap year after you completing your undergraduation. Let's take you taken a 1 year or 2 year gap for any exam preparation or something. They will consider that as a gap year between your UG and the PG. So there is no need for submitting any certificates for the gap year. It's only needed a certificate during your scholarship applying kind of areas. That was another process, so don't worry about that. That's it. I think the question will be addressed.
Yes. Okay. Is there a word limit for questions other than biosketch? Do we need to keep it short? Hardik, can you answer? Word limit for questions. Hardik, I think it's connected. But questions other than biosketches, no word limit as such is stipulated. But as I said earlier, 300 is what we should keep as. Like, because I said a lot of interviews are there, people are, the panel is reading these again and again, so just keep in mind to keep it around the 300 word limit. In the section work related to field, will it include internships and research papers if we don't have any work? Yes, like it can be considered. Do we have to print out DAF and fill manually in some interest? No. Anika?
No, you don't have to print out and fill it manually. It will be like a link one. You can fill it, and if I'm not wrong, I uploaded as PDF, so you can do like that. Soft copy only.
Yeah. I don't think PDF, like they have a website where there is, you'll be asked to log in, and on the website.
Yeah.
So do that. For the long answers, the part 2 of it, I would suggest write your answer separately somewhere and then copy paste it later, because directly writing it, there might be some errors and in saving and everything. So to save yourself from that, write it somewhere, Word, or doc document, and then you later, once you are submitting, then you paste it there. Can I mention in my internship volunteering experience in the work experience question? I wasn't formally employed, but I did several internships in social sector, so that experience can be mentioned. That experience can be mentioned. Again, tie it into why it is relevant and how. So that can be done. If you don't have proper certificates, can we mention those achievements too? Anika.
It depends. Like in employment or employment, you can't give without a certificate. But in some cases that I have volunteered in this club, or I have worked in national service scheme, they don't ask for particular certificate or something. So for employment and all, keep it only if you have certificate. But for internships also, I'm not sure for internship. But for national service scheme and other club, that kind of achievements, you don't need a certificate. Levin, do you know about internships?
No internships, I don't think they generally ask. And whatever it will be later on, once you are qualified. Once you've got admission, then you'll be asked for whatever documents and all. So at least if you can talk to your employer and figure it out, that also should be helpful. But for internships, most likely there is no need for that. Anvesha can ask question.
So I joined just now. So my question is that which type of HR questions is asked during the interview? Like I read just one of the transcript. So there are some of the interviewers asked about the labor laws and HR laws. So I don't have any previous experience in HR field. So is that a problem?
Okay, so right now the session what we are doing is on the DAF, detailed application form, and separately we'll be discussing each course and each program that is being offered by TISS and how to prepare for the interview for that in a few days from now. So this question will be more relevant there, but broadly these are some things which can come up. But what we discussed before also is that in the DAF form, whatever you are filling there, be it your personal interest in the course, any work experience or the biographical skills, most of the questions that will be coming from that only. But some field relevant questions like you are asking might also be asked, but this is something which we'll be discussing in a few days from now in a similar orientation which will be specific to whatever programs and everything. So we can take it up there also.
Okay, sir. So in that form, if I feel something about my interest, hobby, or any kind of internship, they will ask from that also.
They might ask. It is not a surety, but whatever you write, it is a base for them to know you, and from that they will be asking you questions.
Okay, thank you.
I have worked as RMO in hospital for 6 months, but I don't have any experience certificate or salary slip. Should I mention? Another.
For a particular employment column, you should be this certificate should be produced. So better you mention that in work experience related to this course in that column. If it can be mentioned, it will be okay. But for a job, they will be asking for a certificate.
Okay. Does the fact that I couldn't clear the interview last year and I'm going to be taking part in the OA for a second year, now play a role in selection? No, it should not. But again, you will be mentioning it, I'm expecting, in the gap year one session. So then the question will be, what were you doing during this period? So just be prepared for that. And again, it is a more interview related question. Maybe it can be no direct role as such would be. Just you have to account for what you were doing through this 1 year period and maybe something you have learned or understood. So those things you have to mention. I have done value-added course for just 1 month in project management. Can I mention? It can be mentioned in the work-related. Whatever little work also you have done, just tell and be open about and honest about it. So, that. Kriti has a question. Okay. Kriti, you have raised your hand. Do you have a question? Okay, maybe by mistake only. Can we frame the biographical sketch in a story-like structure? Another and the next question also, should it be in first person or third person?
The bio sketch should be written in first person and the third person, as first person only. So for that question, it is the first person. Can we frame the biographical sketch in a story-like structure? It mostly depends on like how you want to present you before the interview. Just keep in mind that anyway you will have to connect it with the course or which field you are applying for. Not just like a story and nothing. Some specific things related how what makes you eligible for this course. If it is not mentioned, then it will look bad. So just frame it in a way that some aspects related to the course you are applying for is also mentioned.
Okay, this Aniket question I'm not understanding. Ask the recent newspaper like current affairs knowledge.
I think that is related to interview.
Interview. So in an interview can be asked other things also, but the primary thing will be the DAF. So that is something which is in your control. So you can curate it the way you want. But current affairs knowledge also can be asked. But again, we can discuss it later. Can you please share? I think Aruna can share. I'm a physiotherapist and I passed out in November 23. From then I'm doing home visits and not associated with any hospital. So it will count as gap year or work experience. Another? Do we have Arjun?
Yeah, someone from MHA or health school.
I don't think right now.
Okay, I think we can address it separate because I'm also about it.
You can just text any of us or call and we can respond. Our contact will be in the group. Or directly you can contact Arjun who we can share the number. My hobby is mimicry and painting. Can I mention them? Can I mention about it if asked? Although it is not related to the course in any way. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, what also the panel also likes is different kinds of people with different interests coming in. So it might not be directly related, but it is something which defines you. So that can also be related to some way panel does things. They'll ask, oh, how does it influence that? Those things can also be there, but definitely mention whatever your interests are. Do they consider gap year after 12th, which I had taken for NEET? Yes. After, I think 10th, whatever. Anika, is that right?
Yes.
After 10th class, whatever will be considered, yeah. I recently got placed with Deloitte. Should I mention it in the interview? I think if you have started working, it should be mentioned in the DAF only, not in the interview. First in the DAF form, then only they'll know. You won't be, no one will ask you if you are placed or something. So you have to mention it in DAF if you have started working or if something of that certificate. And if the panel feels it is relevant, then they'll ask you about it. In sample DAF, it is mentioned gap year after.
Can start there.
So after 10th class, or whatever gap year is there, has to be accounted for. So you mentioned it, whatever like there are also different categories also there. You can mention it.
I have done NCC. Should I mention this?
This won't be a work experience. Sorry.
Yeah. I think you can mention this national service scheme and all people. I have seen people mentioning. So NCC also you can. Anvesha, are you raising hand again or?
I think it is.
No, ma'am. Actually, it was for the previous one. Sorry.
No issue. Sanket, you have a question?
Hello, sorry I joined late. I had few questions. So in the sample data, I'm sorry, the voice is echoing, I guess.
Okay. For me, it is fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we were.
Okay. So there's this column for SSCs and equivalent examinations that we have taken. So it doesn't specify whether it should be 10th, 12th and graduation only. for instance, I've taken IELTS or TOEFL or GRE. Can I mention those exams there, or would it not be right?
No, IELTS and all you can mention there. Like, you can mention only this graduation, post-graduation, 12th, SSLC.
Right. And I don't see any particular field to mention those sort of examinations or certifications that we've done. So where should I mention those?
Actually, certificate courses or certifications, anything you have related to the course you are applying, you can mention that on the work experience related to that field. That you have qualified this exam like that. There is no specific column for the exams you have qualified. So it can't be. There is no specific column for that.
In biographical sketch, I think
you can add.
If you think it is relevant, you can add it there.
Right. So I was under the impression that the work experience column was only open for people who have done experience post their graduation. So since I'm a fresher, am I allowed to write something in the work experience column or not?
No, so what we are calling right now, which over the course of this orientation has changed into work experience, is not exactly work experience. It is work related to the field of study.
Oh,
that
right.
is what the question is. The other section in the first part of DAF, which is for people who are currently employed. So that is a different, like the proper work experience as we call it. So that is that. But right now, what I think you are also referring to is work related to the field, which can be ranging from anything. Like someone mentioned, they worked in college society. So even that is accounted for somewhere the work related to if you have done a certain assignment in certain field, so that also counts for that. So it is like that.
All right, thank you so much.
Vishal will like to question.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to build on the previous questions in biographical sketch. Everything that I've done that is related to my particular program, that is applied psychology, I have mentioned it in the work-related field. And my motivations to study is under that, why do you want to do this course? But I'm a bit clueless regarding what needs to go in the biographical sketch. Like things like where I was brought up and my education background is already mentioned in part A. So I was not finding it relevant to be mentioned again. And so I added a few details about my hobbies and interests. Would that suffice, or would you recommend me to include something else?
Sandhya, you want to respond?
You can make better response.
No. So for in biographical sketch, what you are doing is you have already told about, okay, I have got education from here, but maybe something more can be added to that. Like again, I'm talking about what I personally did. I added why did I do, because I did my undergrad in history and now I'm doing my postgrad in media industrial studies. So there is sort of that sort of a flip also. So, but I mentioned about why like history interested me, or why I'm still interested in history or culture or whatever. So those things you can sort of elaborate upon, like you can use it as a chance, or like as Sangeet earlier was pointing out, I have done some qualifying exams and this and that. So those are some things which you can't put anywhere else, but those can go there. Your interest beyond like some mimicry or something, poetry or whatever, those things can go in the biographical sketch.
Okay, thank you. So things like I was the college president, so those kind of things can be mentioned there in the bio sketch.
Yes.
One more thing I needed a clarification on, like it was already answered, so I failed my 11th, right? So it is not considered a gap year, is what the people said. But in that section, since your 11th and 12th is only for 2 years, will that not rise a discrepancy because I have not mentioned it in the form?
I think Anaka, you were also telling something. No, we also checked.
Actually, I didn't get the question. As 12th, 11th and 12th are 2 years?
No, 11th. Is that a gap year?
Yes, I I think, because that thing you will have to mention in the DAF as gap year only.
Okay, because the person who answered this question previously said not to mention it, so I'm a bit confused.
Some confusions were there.
Once we can also recheck, I think, and get.
Again, may I answer for that? Yes, I just checked about that. They consider 15 years or 17 years, 15 years of graduation, 10 plus 2 plus 4 or 10 plus 2 plus 3. So more than these years, you can mention that as a gap year. Because the person is failed in the 11th and one extra more years are there in between 10 plus 2 plus 3 or 4. So it considers as a gap year.
So it will go as a gap year. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay. Are there any other doubts, questions? Like you can either raise hand or quickly write in text also.
So I had posted a question about you sharing your unique experiences or something unique about this in general that you have experienced. And the idea behind that is that it would give me some material or some input as to what sets it apart from other institutes, and I could include that somehow. So is that okay if you could answer that? I had actually written that in the chat.
Yeah. Actually, these things you can include in DAF as this. These are things we interest you like that. I have also done that, but as aspirant, you will get that or impression or whatever about TISS from the website only. So all the principles they have mentioned there, like the values of equity as a social science institution, what all, in what all way they are, this is unique. So from the like description that is given in website only, you will get a picture of TISS. So I think you can put it in a way that this all features like impresses me, or because of that I wanted to study in TISS like that. Is that what you asked?
I wanted to know about your experiences or something that you noticed was unique about this personally. Just like that, if you have the time to answer that.
Personally,
should I take? Should I tell? Mostly, I would say it is the see, as a like an outsider, you also might not be able to gauge that, but the sort of the research component and the research, the ideal second research and social work and social sciences of this institute is what is very different from any other sort of educational institute in the country, I would say. So, which is what makes it special and makes it stand apart. The focus on research, particularly in whatever field, like I think Niranj was earlier mentioning about, even if it is like a management related course, there is somewhere like the social sciences aspect to it is always there. So that is very different from any other institute that is in the country. But to add to that, I would say I would ask you to go through, like I was mentioning, the course outline and the program, what it entails. Maybe read up about the faculty also, what their interests are and things like that. So you'll also get a sense of why maybe you have applied to other colleges also, how it is standing apart from the course here is different, or the institute is different from others. So you can maybe use that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. As an value added, this I think we said no, we'll have to get clarity on this question. Value added course thing.
So actually, so in biological sketch, so we have to start from our very beginning, like there's something interesting and from our school life, and we have to end why we want to pursue MBA in TISS HR.
See, there is no guideline to how you have to answer these questions. And you can start from anywhere. Like, maybe you can start from college, like when you to go to school. Maybe you don't mention why you're interested in it. But what we are telling is only from what we have written and something that we felt that worked for us maybe. Again, it is not for evaluation, so it is in that sense irrelevant maybe. But the whole idea is how you are making sure that the panelists who are going to interview are also going to think of you and what sort of question they are going to ask. If you think your school life is relevant in that aspect, then you mention. If you think college life is important or your interest in certain thing is relevant or interesting or something you would want to talk about, something you would want the panelists to know, then you do mention that. And just be honest and be genuine in whatever your responses are.
Okay, so then my next question is actually irrelevant for this session, but still I'm asking. What do you think, what should be the cutoff for this year? Because they didn't release it yet.
No clue. I think all of us who are studying right now, we have no clue. Because CUT is happening for the first time and the weightage has changed. Earlier it was 50% for TISSNet and 50% for OA. Right now it is 25% for OA and 75% for the CUT exam. So we have no idea. So you'll have to wait and watch only. That is what all is actually. Okay. Can you give an idea about how one should start the biosketch? Again, no hard and fast rule, but just talk about yourself, what interests you and in generally in life, and what fascinates you, and what you have done, what you have sort of achieved, if you have attended some workshop or done some extra classes or some extra things, you can mention about that. From your experience, what are some no-nos when it comes to writing the biosketch? A senior advised me not to make a direct appeal to the panel that you are an ideal student and anything else, so perhaps. Anaga?
About no-nos, like as we already mentioned, be maximum genuine while writing your biosketch. So exaggerating a thing that you have done or just putting up some stories won't be working. So that thing you can't give. But all you this is kind of a simple questions they are asking now. So all explanations or from what you have to tell to them from your part, genuinely like why you want to pursue this course, it won't be it will be the ideal way to do a DAF. So be genuine. That is only one thing that we will have to tell. And then one thing is that make sure that if you are giving an employment thing, you have the specific certificate. And if you are mentioning an internship, make sure that if we are asking from a question from that part, you will be answering. So that much thing is only. I hope it is clear. Yeah, okay. So then I think all the questions have noted. So Hardik, can you come and invite Aruna for?
Okay, so for all of the thanks, I would invite our executive member, Aruna.
Hello everyone. Am I audible? Yes. So myself, Aruna from I'm a second year MS Study of Data Infrastructure Science, Mumbai. So I am here to convey the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Anagha, Lagan and Hardik for conducting this session so smooth. Thanks for that. Hope the session was clear to all of you. And secondly, I would like to thank all the subcommittee members who have worked a lot behind this to make this session successful. So, to all subcommittee members. And then our core part, you guys. So, thanks all for joining the session. Hope most of your doubts have been cleared in the session. And also, now I would like to inform one thing, like we have already mentioned, we will be conducting a detailed orientation session on the second part, the person interview. So do join for the session. There you will get to clear all your doubts regarding the specific programs for which you have been selected. So that's it. Then we know that many people are not able to join the session. So we have recorded the session and we'll be uploading soon on the YouTube channel. So for that, please do follow all our social media handles on Instagram and YouTube. And if there is anyone yet to join our WhatsApp group, please do join that as well. We have provided the link in the chat box. Yeah. So thank you.